staff, members of the public, I declare the Ordinary Council meeting of the 27th of March 2024 open at 5:30 p.m. Everyone please stand. I wish to acknowledge the Gurra people as the traditional custodians of the land that we're meeting on and recognise their strength, resilience and pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging. Thank you. Sit down. Item number 3, recording of attendance. This meeting is being live streamed and audio recorded to facilitate community participation for minute-taking purposes, which may be released upon request to third parties. In accordance with Clause 616 of the Town of Port Hedland Standing Orders, Local Law 2014, members of the public are not permitted to use any visual, audio, electronic device or instrument to record the proceeding unless the person is being given permission by the presiding member to do so. Members of the public are also reminded that in accordance with Clause 617-4 of Standing Orders, mobile phones must be switched off and not be used during the meeting. 3.1 attendance. I note that all councillors are present as their attendance will be listed under 3.1 of the minutes. I do recall that we have absentees of Councillor Rents is away at the moment on family matters. And the other items will be listed under 3.1 of the minutes. And can I also especially welcome Councillor Adrian McRae, who was sworn in earlier today. Welcome, Adrian, to the chamber. Thank you. 3.3, attendance by telephone, entertainers communications, there is nil. 3.3, apologies. CEO, have any apologies at all?
Just Councillor Arentz.
Councillor Arentz, okay, it's noted. Thank you, CEO. 3.4, approved leaves of absence. CEO, do you have any approved leaves of absence?
We have none, Mr Mayor.
Okay, thank you, CEO. 3.5, disclosure of interest. CEO, have you have any disclosure of interest for tonight's agendas?
I believe we have 2 from Councillor Rebello and Councillor Bennett, Mr Mayor.
Okay.
They might wish to make
Do you want to put those declarations down?
Yes, I have a disclosure of interest at 12.3.2, Southland General Practice Service Review, as BHP is my employee.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Bennett. Councillor Rebello?
I have a disclosure of interest for item number 12.2.1, Spoilbank Marina partial clearance of land tenure, in so much as it is an impartiality interest, or rather perceived interest. My spouse works for PPA. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Item number 4, application for leave of absence. CEO, have you received any absence?
Mr Mayor, I have received a leave of absence from Councillor Bennett for the period 23rd of April to the 26th of April, and from Councillor Christensen for the period 28th of March to the 3rd of April.
Great, thank you, CEO. Can I have a move on that, please? Thank you, Councillor Turner. Thank you. Seconder? Councillor Button. Thank you. Sorry? Councillor Turner was first. And second for Councillor Button. Yeah. Is any questions? Is anyone against? Motion is carried. Thank you. Item number 5, response to previous questions. Response to questions received at the Ordinary Council meeting held on the 28th of February 2024 have been provided to individuals and are detailed in the agenda. Item number 6, public time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an opportunity for members of the public to ask questions of Council in regarding tonight's agenda and business of local government. Clause 6.73 of the Town of Port Hedland Standing Orders laws require members of the public wishing to ask questions to complete the question form and place the completed form in the tray provided. If myself, the providing member, determines that questions and statements are out of order due to offensive or objectionable expression or defamatory, they will not be considered, recorded, nor responded to. 6.1, public question time. I declare public question time open at 5:34 p.m. CEO, have you received any questions at all?
I've not received any so far, Mr Mayor.
Okay, do you have any members of the public to ask questions at all? Anyone? Yes, Renee, come forward, take your name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
Yep, so it's Renee Coles at 58 Green Place in South Hedland. My first question is to the Town of Port Hedland. Thank you so much once again for putting CCTV portable cameras around the town. However, CCTV portable cameras to assist with the new influx of crime we're currently experiencing. When will the town of Port Hedland commit to more CCTVs within the South Annex and commit to having a full-time person overseeing this once they have the full clearance and training provided? Eyes on the street and actually recording of movements could support this community during trying times and very hardship times. Wouldn't it be great to be seen as a ward for initiative contributing to community safety and stand tall for other communities to see us as a town as a poster child for this particular, putting this one here forward. The second one, I've just got a quick handout if people wish to.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
So on Friday the 23rd of February 24, I was extremely honoured to attend an event that was held at the Walkabout Hotel. It was very formative. Sadly, I'm not sure they actually have all the correct information provided to them, but I was more than happy to fill in some blanks. However, I do believe this issue can be resolved, and my question to Council is that Council reach out to this company, as they're extremely happy to present to Council on what they have been discussing with elected members over the last 2 years. Colleen Specialist Service Global Talent Connect from Sydney. Some elected members have already met with them over the last 2 years, so it'd be great to hear from Colleen, as they have granted an audience with, all they ask for is to be granted an audience with Council, so then all councillors are aware of what's going on. They are very supportive of this community and wish to see better services, supplying of workforce to fulfil areas. They're wanting to put forward housing. They've got so much to offer, and they personally do want to come and speak to councillors. At the email, you'll be able to see them. But yeah, I was very happy to actually fill in a lot of blanks for them on that night. However, there was only 3 people that turned up to that particular meeting, which was a very sad turnout considering who they might have been told to reach out to. So I would like to see the council support this particular company and getting them to come and to present to you, so then you actually understand on what they're actually been doing in this town, plus all the information that they have been provided and promised over the last 2 years. My next one. Firstly, I want to thank Mez for saying what I was yelling at my phone at the very last council meeting in Perth. I wasn't able to attend that meeting due to the fact that Qantas like to change flights, and my flight was cancelled and I had to race a daughter down for medical reasons. But I'm glad the actual footage was edited and removed from the council website, and elected members, and I hope all elected members were notified and explained why this took place, plus got councillors' permission to do so. However, this should never have been allowed to continue in the first place. Not sure what to say to you all. I'm past angry. I'm just extremely disappointed in you all as elected member that this was meant to be, who was meant to be representing this community. As a ratepayer, small business owner, volunteer in this community, this behaviour is definitely not what I expect from people who are paid by ratepayers to represent our interests. When I was on council, there was many times a councillor would step in when a community member was out of order, but now appears things might have changed, don't know. In my opinion, this episode that took place last week, not last week, because the last was a special council meeting, which I'll talk about in a minute, was a minor breach on each and every one of you, except for the councillor who was personally attacked. One must wonder why nobody stepped in and stopped this venomous, outrageous behaviour continuing. Clearly from other meetings I have watched in the past and been part of, this behaviour would have been stopped dead in its tracks by presiding elected members. One must wonder if this is a reflection of the leadership style elected members are going to display, because in my opinion, this behaviour is completely unacceptable. One must wonder if this was allowed in the first place due to who was being personally attacked, as you all didn't see the necessity of stopping it in its tracks. So let's draw now attention to the last special council meeting where elected members attacked other elected members. One of these was thankfully stopped and highlighted by Deputy Meg Christensen, which thank you so much for doing that, stopping that in the tracks before it went any further. In my opinion, we need to not sit there and attack each other. I hope my fellow councillors put in their breaches on this behaviour. However, Phil, there's still a lot of mumbling and sighing coming from some sections of this council, and I do wish that that behaviour stops, as you are here to represent this community as your elected promises when you went up and you actually put yourself up to be nominated. You said you're there for the community, but you're happy to sit there and sigh and personally attack other fellow councillors. This is not best practice for this council. This council deserves better. We need to be stepping forward and actually step up to the plate, as this town really can go forward. But as long as if that side of the table continues this outrageous behaviour, I find it very difficult to be seen as a leading people within this community.
Thank you.
Direct questions.
Do you have any more public questions at all? Yes, Jan, please come forward, state your name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, councillors, staff, CEO staff, and all elected members, and welcome to our new elected member that we have. I came to the swearing-in ceremony this morning, so thank you for that. It was a very nice morning. Thank you for that, and congratulations to our newly elected member. I'm Janet Gillingham, 3 Simmons Street, Port Hedland, and I'm a resident in Port Hedland. Just 3 short questions. Last week I actually attended a meeting to do with the big land transaction in South Hedland. It was based at the Lotteries House. So I parked my car across from Lotteries House just about quarter past 6, and I was just appalled at the amount of glass, broken glass, all the way over all the car parking areas. Now, other people going along to the meeting have said that this is just common occurrence, but they'd noticed that glass had been there quite a few days. So my question is, who is cleaning up this car park? I mean, it's not council's position, I believe is the shopping centre. But at the same time, as it was getting dark when coming out, about 7:45 in the evening, only half the lights on in the car park. The Coles are still open until about 8 o'clock. So can we please look into this? Can we look into the cleaning? I think at the end of the day, if most of the shops are shut, does the shopping centre have somebody to clean before the morning, or does it get cleaned overnight? Because it was a real mess.
Yes, okay, that's a fair question. I know the cleaners are there every morning about 5 in the morning, gardening the pathway in the shopping centre. They do a good job. They do a great job. But I'll take that on notice what you're saying with the shopping centre again, and try and get more activated in that glass cleaning up, because the glass around the area with kids running around is not a good look for us.
Well, thank you, Mayor, because I know the footpaths are clean, but I'm not too sure about the actual car park, and it was down the Lotteries House area, so across from there, and walking on the glass too. There's a lot of broken glass there. I would appreciate that. I think the residents would. Thank you.
Point of order.
Yes, Councillor.
Mr Mayor, considering you have a business in that shop, you should declare an interest in that question and pass the question over to the deputy to answer. That is the proper process.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Baker. Continue.
Okay, I have question number 2. It's pleasing tonight to see some of our councillors declaring their interests. We all know your backgrounds, we all know each other's backgrounds, but declaring interest is really important. I do hope that this does continue. So I'm please asking you, Mayor Carter, could this please be more proficient, because I know that in the last few years, declarations has just not happened. There are councillors around the table that should be declaring and they're not declaring, and I think that we deserve better. And my third question is, a focus on the bowling club and the yacht club. What is the process at present? What are the updates, please, for our community? Also, for both the yacht club and the bowling club. There are, for the bowling club being closed at the moment, are there still a lot of, memorabilia in there? Is it safe? Has it been locked up, etc.? I just want to know that when are these buildings going to be put back together and given back to the community, please?
Okay, I might get this.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Happy to respond to the question, and thank you, Mrs Gillingham. In terms of the yacht club first, again, it is a secure building. We're currently negotiating with Council's preferred tenderer and it will be, I'm thinking we will have a report back to the April council meeting in terms of the outcomes of those negotiations for the yacht club. In terms of the bowling club, yes, we have locked and secured that facility, and we're now in the process of working with the club, who are in the process of following the administration line of winding up.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Jen. Do we have any more public questions at all? Yes, Roger, come forward, state your name and address for record, please. Thank you.
Roger Higgins, 119 Edgar Street. At the last council meeting, I addressed all of you around the table with regard to a decision you had to make with regard to that, what's going to become a massive amount of worker accommodation. I challenge you to make a decision on the basis of the effect it would have on business in this town. I now want to just ask some questions that relate to the town of Port Hedland. I want to know how many elected members around the table here reside in a residence for which they pay no rates at all to the town of Port Hedland.
I think that question is a bit...
You can leave it to individual members to answer.
Yeah, I'll leave it to individual members to answer that for you.
I beg your pardon?
I'll leave that to individual members to answer that for you.
I,
I'll leave that to individual members to answer that for you.
what, you're allowing that question or not?
No.
For what reason?
No, I'm sorry, allow the question, yes, but allow individual councillors.
I think we as ratepayers who come to these meetings have every right to know which of our elected councillors are paying rates to the town of Port Hedland.
So through the chair,
It's just otherwise it is a conflict of interest.
so through the chair, I'll start.
Yep, good. Yep.
I reside in my own house and I have a mortgage on it and I live in it.
I reside in my employer's housing.
Any more?
I reside in my own place.
Perhaps I should have rephrased it and said, if you're running your own business and living in your own residence here, will you be paying rates to the town of Port Hedland? Now, I think that's a significant question. The other part, the corollary to that, is I'm wondering how many employees of the town of Port Hedland get their housing provided and don't pay any rates. That's probably a question you need to take on notice.
Yep, take that on notice, thank you. Do you have another question?
Okay. So you're taking that one on notice? Yes. Okay, thank you. That's all I've got to ask today.
Okay, thank you.
Through the chair,
Sorry.
I'll just answer the question, the first question. I pay rates.
You're a ratepayer?
Yeah, ratepayer.
Okay, thank you. Likewise. Yeah. Okay, do you have any more public questions at all? Yes, Julie, come forward, state your name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Jeline Fisher. I reside at 3 Mitchie Crescent in South Hedland. I'd like to congratulate our new councillor, Adrian McRae, on his swearing-in ceremony this morning. And I'm excited to see how he can add to the council going forward. I have 3 questions. Well, I've got 50,000 questions, but I'm afraid I'll have to limit them to 3, sadly. First one is reading through the unconfirmed meeting minutes of the 28th of the 2nd, 24. The Mayor stated that he would get Councillor Blanco a list of people who formed the delegation from Port Hedland. You can look at this up, I think it's on page 20 of the unconfirmed minutes. Can you please tell me, was Councillor Blanco given a list?
He was, thank you. Next question.
He was?
He was,
Yes. Can the public have a copy of this?
No, thank you. Next question.
Is there a
Next
reason?
question. Next question, please.
Can I, a point of order?
Sorry. Yes, what is
Just
it,
a
Councillor?
reason.
I don't have a list of,
It was provided to you.
I don't have a list of the standing orders, so I can't quote currently. But standing orders states in there that answers must be truthful. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, and can you provide me with a time that email was sent to me, because I have not seen that, but I haven't read all of my emails today. So can I have a time and date when that email was sent with that information? Thank you.
Yeah, we'll get that to you. It was sent to you. Okay. Thank you. Next question.
Okay, so that's one question. The next one is about the declaration of interest and conflicts of interest. Can that be retrospective? I'll just put some background to that. Councillor Bello at the meeting on the special council meeting on the 13th of the 3rd, 24, she, to my knowledge, moved the motion regarding the Port Hedland Chamber of Commerce and Industry funding. I was just wondering if there was any declaration of interest that was put in for that from the councillor.
Councillor? Yes, sure. Yeah.
But what would the declaration of interest be?
Well,
I have no financial interest or proximity interest, or not really even impartiality. I mean, if you can please clarify as to what it is.
Yes, I'm keen to.
Sure.
I don't know that much about it, but I'll just outline what I've worked out. There was a post on Facebook from the Port Hedland Chamber of Commerce and Industry stating about the Women in Business upcoming luncheon that's on the 24th of May. And Councillor Rebello is actually a speaker at that luncheon, the Women in Business luncheon. Yeah. I was just wondering if it was a conflict of interest, because the meeting that we had, the special council meeting, was actually on the 13th of the 3rd, and this post went up on the 11th of the 3rd. So whether we have some sort of issue there.
There's no issue there at all. That's fine.
That's fine?
No,
Okay.
no issue. Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
That was your third question.
That's my third question?
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's three. Yeah, thank you. Do you have any other public questions at all? Okay. Oh, yes, Gloria.
I won't follow you again, Gillian. It's a little bit hard for me to pull down the microphone. But Gloria Jacob at 76 Sutherland Street, Port Hedland. I have a question in relation to the recent community engagement process that was handled by Creating Communities for the proposed TWA facility that is being underwritten by Pacific Partners. I understand the town. Can you confirm the rumours that the town is supportive of the development?
Is the town supportive of the development?
Correct.
Correct, yes.
So the town's supportive of the development?
Well, as councillors, we have an option to support it or not support it, yes.
Okay. Has it been brought to?
Not yet, no.
Okay. So in other words, it hasn't been brought, so therefore there's not a decided resolution to support
at the moment.
Okay. Fine. That's what I wanted to know.
Can I get a point of clarification? Is this the one at the back of the Oval? Or
Back at Club Hamilton.
Correct.
Club Hamilton?
Yes.
Correct.
It was at the last special council meeting.
It was a special council meeting, not an ordinary council meeting, correct.
Special council meeting?
Yes. Yeah, sorry, yeah, it was.
Okay,
yeah.
so can you answer the question correctly then?
Well, it was passed.
It was passed?
Passed, yes, that was passed.
Okay, so on that basis then, the second question I have relates to the fact when the town resolved to support the project, did it enter into any arrangements with Pacific Partners to have a portion or percentage of the proposed development accommodation units be available for the town's use or for small businesses' use? Just to put some context around that. Some years ago, when the first load of community transient workers' accommodations came to town, and this we're talking up to 20 years ago, the town ensured that to hold the notion of us not just being a FIFO camp area, and there's many more coming on tap right now, especially in line with the shortage of accommodation available for visitors and small business sort of support people that come, whether they're suppliers or logistics. The whole point is the town was given a percentage of rooms for every development that occurred that the town could then use for contractors or small business requirements or other community organisations when they couldn't afford to pay for housing or accommodation for their visitors or their businesses, things like that. So has that been considered by the council as part of that approval process?
I'll hand over to Craig, who's been dealing with them.
Yeah, through the chair. So the previous council meetings have been in relation to the land acquisition for lot 601 Parola, which is the preferred site or intended site for the Pacific Partnerships development. At the moment, I don't believe we've received a development application for the site from the applicant as yet. I believe that is coming shortly, and access to rooms as part of, I suppose, their community sort of responsibilities, etc., will be discussed with them at that time. But at the moment, there's no development application in from them. There's no development application that has been supported by the town. The town and the council have had briefings from Pacific Partnerships, so we're aware of what's coming. But we're waiting for that development application to be received so that we can then, as officers, provide a report to council for recommendation.
Great. So then, and I'm happy to take this on notice, but I'll just put it out there as a question as to whether council would consider that that is indeed part of one of the items in order for the application to progress, that the town and its community benefits in some way to a percentage of whatever the development occurs so that we can get benefit as well as the organisation gets more benefit.
Of course, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gloria. Do we have any more public questions at all? Yes, Mr. Gotts, how are you? Come forward, say your name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Chris Skelton, 3 Hawkins Street, South Hedland. Question is, with the numerous closures of community groups, from the Bowls Club to the Yacht Club to Finney Club, Rec Club, whatever you want to call it, what's the council going to do to provide more assistance, be it in rental or rates or whatever, to allow for community groups to flourish here in Port Hedland instead of them demise and pack up and go? The community needs these places. Without them, what's encouraging families to move here? Secondly, my wife was almost attacked, jumped at the South Hedland shopping centre the other day by 3 teenage girls. What is the council going to do and start taking security seriously around South Hedland for families like mine and many others with children or whatever, so they can actually go to the shops safely? Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Do you have any more public questions at all?
Mr. Mayor, are you going to take those on notice, or are you going to answer those questions?
No, I'll take it on notice, thank you. Yeah. Okay, the public questions, I will close public question time at 5:58 p.m. 6.2 public statement time. I declare public statement time open at 5:59 p.m. CEO, have received any public statements at all?
I've not received any, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, CEO. Members of the gallery have any public statements at all they'd like to make? Anybody? 1, 2, pick one. Okay, thanks, Julie. Come forward, state your name, address for the record, please. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jolene Fisher from 3 Mitchie Crescent in South Hedland. I just want to sort of... I've been going through the attachments and the agenda, as all good ratepayers should, when we should be cross-examining our council to make sure our rates are being equitably applied. There's some interesting things that I'd like to speak about in terms of, and these could be, I'm trying to make it a statement, but they're obviously going to be taken as questions, but they're rhetorical questions. So I'll just start from the beginning. With the grant funding that I know that's available through the town of Port Hedland, there is propensity, I suppose, to put it, or I'm hoping it's available on the website. There was a couple of interesting ones, one for Headland Taekwondo, who was awarded $5,000 on the 14th of the 11th of 23 as a sundry payment. I presume that is a grant funding. The next one is I'm sort of upset about the the 2022-23 annual report. If we've got any background from that from the Auditor General's department. That was another statement, not really a question. And then the last one I'd just like to draw your attention to was the collective impact prospectus 2024. Why is this, in the end, why has it been developed? Who sees it? Is this a draft? And if we're going to put this forward, there's a lot of mistakes and grammar issues in that one attachment that I could find anyway. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Do you have any more public statements at all? Yes, Renee. Yep. Thank you. Come forward, state your name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
Renee Coles, 58 Green Place, South Hedland. So as you all sit here tonight and going forward, I would love to see each elected member respect each other's elected members' opinions and values. My rates happily contribute to all your pays, so I duly respectfully request each other to value each other's opinions and values sitting around the table. Stop the tisking, inability to respectfully look at each member. I don't care how long these meetings go for. I really don't. I can be here all night. That's when I signed up to be a councillor, and that's what I was happy to do. So I'll be happy to sit here till 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, as long as if things get sorted out. Why, you ask? Because I value when elected members sit around the table and actually ask questions, even those non-favourable questions of each other. We don't have to agree to each other's values and opinions. We just have to sit there and listen and respect them by their values and opinions. You need to respectfully work together as a team instead of the clear division based on unnecessary comments and tiskings under breath and across the table. I clearly see one elected member consistently being attacked, and it's clear on live stream, even when I'm not here. We have bigger issues to sort out: housing, health, security of this town. The bowls club, our sporting clubs, as we take them away and we don't know what to do with them, but then we think about we're going to give it to someone else, but really it should be going back to the community. These are community clubs and we're losing them bit by bit. The inability for the soccer club to host their championships because the field wasn't ready in time, that's a valuable loss to the club, let alone the valuable income that could come into this town to support local businesses. The bird walk in Pretty Pool, it's looking neglected. There's plaques missing. We've got so much more to be thinking about and doing. So when each councillor is actually having a question time around the table, asking about where the money's going, asking about other things, I respect a councillor for taking that initiative to speak outside closed doors and actually bring it to the table so then the community is aware that these questions are being asked. That is what you are paid to do. You're here for a reason, and that is to support this community, not sit there and bag each other out over a table. There is a clear division that I can see in this council, and it's clearly noted on council meeting live streams. So let's get back to the core business values that you guys are here to do and actually talk around the table. And I'm happy to sit here till 10:30 at night, 11 o'clock at night, listening to councillors' questions and asking stuff around the table. By all means, but that is what you're here to do. You're here to represent us. That is your job, not to tisk and name call or whatever or not across the table. You're here for us.
Thank you. Any more public statements at all? Yes, Roger, come forward, state your name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
119 Edgar Street. Well, that speech just caused me to get to my feet because I, last time in public statement time, challenged you councillors with regard to that decision you had to make about that massive FIFO camp. Since that time, I have now found that the school dental service here and the public dental service here have collapsed. There is no dentist in town at all who can see school children or the public. Why? The answer is because of what decisions get made around this table by people who've got vested interests. Too many of you, I challenge you individually to start making decisions around here which are going to grow the population, the permanent population of this town. Not the fly in, fly out population of the town, the permanent population. And when you make decisions like you did last week to support the building of a camp that's going to have more than 1,500 rooms there, I challenge you before you made that decision about the benefit or lack thereof that I saw that would come here to the town for business. But no, you went ahead and you made that decision. Now, I can only assume that there has been vested interest involved here or people have been lent upon to make a decision. That's an assumption. I have no proof on that, but the consistent way that decisions are made around this table here give me good reason to feel that. The other issue is the question of council rates. 2 years in a row now, you've rolled over what you couldn't spend into the following year. How about giving the people that live here in their own houses who pay rates to the town of Port Hedland a bit more of a holiday? That would be a good idea. It would generate a lot of support in the place. So I'm calling you guys to start to become accountable for what's going on. Right now, there isn't any. Big business is controlling what's going on. I know it influences you people, but it's about time you start to have a vision to grow this place. I gave you some figures last time and I'm going to repeat them again. Karratha, when I first went there in December 99, had a population of 12,300 and here it was 18,900 and something because of HBI. We're now back at about 15,500 compared to Karratha's 23 and almost 24. It's time you people around here started to make some informed decisions and not biased ones.
Thank you. Do you have any more public statements at all? Yes, Gloria, come forward, state your name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
Good on you, Rog. Okay, Gloria Jacob, 76 Sutherland Street, Port Hedland. I'm making my public statement in relation to item 12.2.2, which is the proposed additions and alterations to existing childcare centre use, Rosenau's Early Learning Centre, situated at lot 2791 Baronia Close, South Hedland. And the recommendation is that council approves the development application for the proposed additions and alterations to that said centre. And the second item I'm also speaking to is item 12.3.1, which is the childcare expansion for Rosenau's, situated at the same place. So I speak to you as the chairperson of Rosenau's Early Learning Centre in support of the officer's recommendation for both of those items. 3 years ago, Rosenau's commenced this journey. We were invited to participate in a study undertaken by Child Australia on behalf of the industry stakeholders in Port Hedland, acknowledging that there was a critical shortage of childcare places. Recognising this need for extra childcare, the board of Rosenau's commenced its review of Rose's strategic plan. One of its objectives was to investigate the potential to expand our services, and following on from that, we applied for funding to carry out a feasibility study. That was 3 years ago. The past 2 years have resulted in the completion of a workforce strategy and restructuring and strengthening of the organisation framework to accommodate the proposed expansion project. On top of which, we've also done that for the out-of-school hours service, which Rose will introduce in the next couple of months. Add to this, 2 years in the making, detailed designs have been completed in consultation with the town's officers, as the building is owned by the council. And the development application is now submitted. That's one of the items being under recommendation at item 12.2.2 today. The town has acknowledged in every public forum and community engagement that childcare is a critical need for Hedland and its community. Now, council tonight can commit to addressing that very priority you and your community have identified as a critical need for many years. You do this tonight by approving the DA and by committing the recommended funding to expand the facility, which is the town's asset. And that's key to this. You're not giving somebody money. You're actually improving your asset. You're improving the facilities that you currently lease to services such as Rosenau's. So it's not a funding application by Rosenau's. It's actually the town deciding that you are going to upgrade and improve your facility to address a critical need within the community, which you have all identified and you all support. We implore councillors to support the officer's recommendation, acknowledging that engineering and traffic management planning is par for the course. These things will be addressed as a matter of due diligence. It has to be. Your support for such an important and critically needed project should not be compromised by traffic management issues or other issues which exist in most school areas around Australia. I have confidence that a long overdue solution for the existing situation at Boronia during school drop-off and school pickup can be engineered and managed in partnership. It has to be in partnership by the town and the education department, because Rosenau's, the service, its proposal for expansion has undertaken its due diligence on parking requirements and traffic around that space. And our reports have identified that the parking outside, which is the town's facility, is adequate for the expansion. But I digress. So I guess the point is you have the opportunity tonight to attend and actually commit and address and make something real that would enhance this community. The council has been provided with letters of support from small business, from Regional Development Australia, and even from yourselves. You provided a support letter for our application for funding for the Growing Regions Round 1 funding, which is a federal government funding that will assist the town to actually deliver this project. So to not support or hold up the project otherwise under various other conditions would cause much confusion and angst in the community and stakeholders and industry partners. For councillors to digress from its support of this proposed expansion for the service would delay the progress of the delivery of this project, and we have delayed it already for the past 12 months. So, councillors, you have the opportunity to support the officer's recommendation. and to progress planning to deliver a critical piece of infrastructure that will support a long-standing, reputable service that has been delivering childcare in the community for near on 45 years. This is not a new service that you're not aware of. This service has undergone an internal review to ensure that workforce requirements and other, we've even implemented a housing strategy that supports attraction of staff into affordable housing for our organisation. Lots of planning has occurred. We implore you to now make the decision to address something that will, on multifaceted level, benefit the community of Port Hedland by supporting job growth, by supporting workforce reparticipation by people who are currently not able to join the workforce because they have no opportunity or places for childcare. That is exponential in its outcome for not only the economic benefit of this town, but for small, medium enterprises as well as other industries. There are workforce at home that your businesses, and I see people on council that employ people, and the town is one of them as well. There are people not returning to work for this very reason. To add 90 places of childcare to this community is something that other communities would only dream of. You just have to build it, and Rose will provide the service, and they will come.
Thank you. Do you have any more public statements at all? Yes, please come forward, state your name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
Nicola Jacobs, 76 Sutherland Street, Port Hedland. I too am making a public statement in relation to item 12.2.2, proposed additions and alterations to existing childcare centre use, Rosenow's Early Learning Centre. Recommendation that Council approves a development application for the proposed additions and alterations to Rosenow's Early Learning Centre, and item 12.3.1, the childcare expansion 25 Boronia Close. I am making this statement today to address a critical issue that affects families in our community of Port Hedland. Childcare is not only a matter of convenience, but it is a fundamental necessity for working parents and the well-being of our children. And as a childcare worker myself, I understand that wholeheartedly. The board, of which I am a member, and the staff of Rosenow's Early Learning Centre have taken a proactive step by proposing to increase its capacity by 90 additional places. This expansion is not just about numbers. It represents hope for families struggling to secure quality care for their children. It is important to clarify some misconceptions regarding this project. Firstly, the primary school traffic should not be a deterrent to the proposed expansion of the centre. The centre has undertaken studies that indicate it has adequate car spaces available for parents accessing the service. Any traffic issues related to the primary school should be the responsibility of the Education Department and the town to address as part of roads management. According to traffic observations and data collected by the centre, during peak times in the morning, an average of 10.5 children access the childcare centre car park, and in the afternoon, the numbers drop substantially to 3.72, indicating that the majority of traffic occurs as a result of primary school drop-offs and pick-ups. In the light of overwhelming need for more childcare services in Port Hedland, it's paramount that this expansion project moves forward without delay. Every day of delay means that families in our community are left without the support they desperately require. In conclusion, I urge the Council to think outside the box and support and expedite this project, recognising its significance in addressing the childcare shortage crisis and meeting the needs of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any more public statements at all? Yes, Ms. Gillingham, come forward, state your name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Janet Gillingham, 3 Simmons Street, Port Hedland. I went to the meeting of the Pacific Group, which was the Creating Communities, which gave the actual presentation of all the plans, I guess the drawings of the new proposed future land development at the back of the South Hedland Oval, Kevin Scott Oval. Now, has any thought been given with all this going on to the fact that will the area of the sporting area need to have any further expansion? Because as I see it, when I had a look at the plans, and a few of us around the table, when we were talking and notes were taken, was how could you expand when you're going to be actually locked in the whole of the back area of the Kevin Scott Oval with camps? We've already got, we already have the FMG camp, and we already have the Gateway camp, and this is right slap bang right in the middle. But it's pushed back, I mean, way back from where the Finucane Island Club used to be. So it just makes you think that there's plenty more land in South Hedland. Can you push it out a little bit further? Perhaps a little bit further. Perhaps the back of Osprey somewhere, where we know we need to have 2 more Ospreys, replicate Ospreys, because we're just running out of accommodation for our key service worker people. Yes, I know that you have the Cottier Drive coming up tonight with the area opposite the old water park there. That's on your table for tonight. That's been on the books for near about 2 years. But the location could surely be moved out somewhere else at the back of South Hedland. I really think that council, we really need to look into this. And also, it was disappointing to think that the presentations were so shortcoming in trying to get out to the public. The meeting that I went to was at 6:30 in the evening. In fact, I got a message to say it was going to be cancelled because I was the only one that RSVP'd for that time. But a few more people managed to come along, and actually the meeting took place. And it was very good. When we looked at the plans, we thought, yes, they are going to be fly-in, fly-out accommodation for 800 persons behind, but then in front is a 6-foot hotel, a 6-foot facade hotel overlooking the Oval. Is that so that they can watch the Eagles and the Dockers come up when they, I don't know, I'm just saying that. But looking over the Oval, and then why was the service area put to the left out the front, which was like as you drove in, you went past the service area. And we said, couldn't it be behind the actual Dongers? And then the road was exactly the same as the gateway, where you come in and you go all the way around the back there, the road with all the parking. I pity those people who will be living in the 800-person camps because they'd have such a long walk to actually get to where they have to go to the mess or wherever. A lot of thought, and even the gentleman from Creating Communities said, so you're saying, can you turn the camp Dongers that way, or the accommodation units that way, not Dongers, apologies, so that they'd actually get the westerly breeze coming through rather than them not getting the breeze. So those sort of things were actually taken on board. And that's something which we all talked about on the days of when Gateway was being built, was have it built. It was altered so that it would get that breeze in the afternoon. And I've been to Gateway many times when I had a family member staying there. In the afternoon, people sit on the verandas at Gateway and they actually get that really nice breeze, and they watch the sunset in the west. But so there's a bit of thought needs to be gone into these camps, you know. When you also think of, you know, where Osprey is, I really think that's another area where these would work really well. I don't know what land would be available, but I'm quite sure around the table you will know that. So then I come to the fact that driving past our big blue stadium just recently, and I see all these well-dressed people walking over the land opposite, which is between the vets and the high school, and we know it all as Horizon Powerland. So when I was on council, there was a lot of talk about what may or may not happen there. But it was publicly announced at a conference here at the stadium back in November that, oh yes, there was a proponent who actually said that there was going to be a supermarket there, which is going to be an IGA going there. And that is why all that land possibly could be when it was acquired from other companies like Horizon Power and the Health Department. So my question with that, if I had a question, was I've recently found out that if that's the case, then the IGA that was built in Karratha, which went ahead because there was no alcohol outlet, has suddenly having an alcohol outlet like a hotel that's there. Now, does that mean that if our IGA goes ahead, if we get an IGA, if it goes ahead, if is a little word with a big meaning, by the way, if that goes ahead, will then an alcohol outlet suddenly come close to where a high school is? Now, we've talked about this before on council. We've talked about not having fast food. The high school is annoyed at the moment that their students want to walk across the road and go to the Caltex for takeaway food. That's not a healthy thing. We're promoting healthy here. The entry statement into South Hedland, coming along all the way from South Hedland, and where do we have it? We have the high school on the left, the Caltex on the right, and we have the beautiful blue stadium, and then suddenly we'll have a supermarket. Oh, I think that's not a good idea. And then you go past the Oval, and suddenly there'll be one camp, the FMG Gateway, and the new Pacific camp there. I think that needs to be a lot more thought. A lot more thought. Oh, yes, and they're going to have a swimming pool. So then, we're going to have a swimming pool eventually. So a lot more thought, I think, needs to go into these camps. But going back to our Horizon Powerland is, does the high school know that there may be a supermarket going there? I know that we do have a representative of the school board. I would like to know, perhaps at the next meeting, does the high school know that there's a proposal that may eventuate that there may be a supermarket there? That's the question I guess I'll need to ask next time to one of our councillors, because I don't know. We don't know. Do they know? Do the parents know? All right. How much footpath, people going along there, and how safe is it going to be? Has there been a safety? Do the people in the vet know that that possibly could happen? But the other thing is it going to eventuate to an alcohol outlet? Because we have our Spinifex Hill artists. We also have across the road near the tennis club, our Gary Arrow people land there, which we know that is something for the future. So we need an entry statement. Do all our councillors around the table know that back in the 2017, 18, 19, that a presentation was put to council, money from BHP and money from Lotteries House was gained to have an entry statement there, to have an artistic Indigenous path running from the Spinifex Hill artists right the way through to the back of the high school and meandering. Now there's your entry statement. So councillors, when these all things possibly could in the future come to your council, I'd like you to think of all those things, because we need an entry statement into South Hedland, and we need it to be brilliant, because there's also talk of having a beautiful music concert type presentation as well. Hall in South Hedland, which is very much, will be very, very welcome. But I'm finishing on a final happy note. I was very pleased to receive an email from some of your staff to do with the Welcome to Hedland evening, which is happening at the second Friday in May, I think it is. And thank you to your staff for sending out information to all the not-for-profit organisations, inviting us to have stalls. That's never happened before. We've always had to go out and do everything, and then we've missed out in getting a stall or something like that. Thank you very much. Could you please pass thanks on to the staff? Because that really is starting to involve our not-for-profit organisations who really want to get out there at the Welcome to Hedland night and really have a great expo that night. So please think of all those things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jane. Do you have any more public statements at all?
Hi, it's Gloria Jacob again, 76 Sutherland Street, Port Hedland. I'd like to invite and introduce the council to some of the staff. You've noticed they've all turned up late because they've just finished covering their services now. So I'd like to introduce you, if you don't mind, to some here who were able to join us tonight. Would you like to give your names and just speak to
Hi there, my name is Cledell Farwood. I am working at Rosenauer's Early Learning Centre and I'm supporting the expansion of our Early Learning Centre. And this is the other staff that we have.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Carly Lee Morris and I'm working as a childhood educator at Rosenauer's Early Learning Centres.
Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rihanna Ashraf Rana, and I work at Rosenauer's Early Learning Centre.
Welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm Cheryl, and I'm working also at Rosenauer's Early Learning Centre.
Welcome. Thank you.
The girls have been really keen with, the staff have been a large part of the process of the planning for the expansion projects. You guys make me want to cry. But as you can see, we have an extremely diverse set of people who look after the children in our community. So thank you for coming out, and we hope.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Do we have any more public statements at all? Okay, I will close public statement time at 6:31 p.m. 6.3, petition, deputation, presentation, submissions. There is nil. Item 7, question for members without notice. Are there any questions from elected members?
Yes, I'd like to ask some questions, please, regarding the diary by the presiding member. Okay. Yep. So my first question is, it's on the 6th of February 2024. The meeting with the representative of Golden Gate Trade Services, True Vietnam, was this meeting as Peter Carter or as the Mayor Peter Carter?
It was the Mayor, myself, the CEO, and the Deputy Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Were these people the ones that were shown through the South Hedland Bowling Club?
No, they were not. Thank you.
My second question is, on the meetings that you have had during your month of meetings, when will you be bringing reports back to council to the council members, please?
I'm working on that at the moment. Thank you.
And how long is that going to take?
I'm working on that at the moment. Thank you.
And just on my third one, I'm not sure if there's a typing error on the 23rd of the 3rd, 24. Is that meant to be the 23rd of the 2nd or the 23rd of the 3rd, 24?
It should be 23rd of the 2nd. Yeah.
Yep, so that just needs to be altered, please, if it could. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more public questions at all, councillors?
Yes, through the Chair.
Yes.
Just picking up on the comments around community safety, keen to get clarity around a future workshop coming out of the community safety plan. So we have been working with UWA. The opportunity there is to drive some community-led solutions around how to build a safer community. So if we could get some timeline around when that workshop might occur. I'm not aware that I think it's been parked or hasn't been actioned for some time. So I think that's an important piece of work that needs to be undertaken. And yeah, so if we could do that, that would be a good thing.
Yeah. No worries. Thank you, Councillor. Yes, Councillor Ballard. No. Okay. Yes, Councillor Christian.
Quick question. This is to yourself, Mr. Mayor, in relation to the agenda item, and being that we now have a nearly full gallery, full of members in relation to a certain item. May I please ask the question to see if we can change up the order of the meeting to allow items 12.2.2 and 12.3.1 to be brought to the fore, as they both relate to the Rosenauer's Early Learning Centre, please.
Certainly, Councillor. Can I get a second on that? Thank you, Councillor Bennett. Is there anyone against that motion? Oh, great, thank you.
Sorry, just for clarity, there was more a question to ask if we can raised it, so I'm happy for the Mayor to move the motion to
Yep.
do it when it comes up to after item 12 of report of officers. Just as more a question is to see if we can do it.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, thank you.
The motion's already been stated, Mr Mayor, so I don't think we need to do it again.
Thank you.
But I know you were looking at me because you just expect me to ask questions, so if you expect it, I will give it to you, don't worry. No, I'm not going to ask many questions, only one. I am still waiting for a series of answers for a series of questions that I've asked over 6 months. Do we have any timeline on when I might be getting those?
Very soon.
Very soon, okay.
Thank you.
I'd like to congratulate our newly elected Mayor, Councillor,
Councillor?
No, Councillor, yeah, that's right. Councillor McRae. It's a tough thing, putting your hand up and, coming onto council, regardless whether we, see eye to eye on different things. I'll put that aside. It's tough to put yourself out there and, then get re-elected. I'll get elected. I've been there a few times and, I'm well experienced, so I know the angst, I suppose, and the doubts that people have when they do put their hand up, and it's great to see members of the community trying it. I think, Mr Mayor, I'll leave it at that.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Blanco. Is there any more questions? Councillor Turner.
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions actually. So the first question is, and again it relates to community safety, but more broadly the activation of South Hedland and the South Hedland Square. So can we get some sort of report back from administration about actions and steps that will be taken to progress that? That has been an item, and it goes to the heart of some of the antisocial issues and challenges that sit in South Hedland. So that's the first question. Second question is, I think one of the good things that Council has done has been to support the development of a youth advisory council. That has been well over a year in development, and I would like a progress report on, and I think the Council would like a progress report on how that is travelling, and when we might expect to meet our young councillors, or our representatives, I should say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. Any more questions at all? Yes, Councillor McRae.
Mr Mayor, before Councillor McRae continues, can you take that question on notice, or from the Councillor Turner, so we have that listed in the agenda to be answered? You haven't said anything about taking on notice or answering that question.
Okay, thank you. You'll take notice, it's fine. Yes, Councillor McRae.
Look, being green here, I'm not sure this is exactly the time to ask, but just wanted to know what we're doing as a council to petition, particularly state government, with regard to adding police and probably social workers to our town to try and stemmy this ridiculous rates of crime we're seeing across South and in Port and certainly in Wedgfield.
Okay, we'll take that on notice. I know that at the moment the police are actually at full capacity. What I've been told, they have enough. I think we have like 60 odd police officers, and they actually have enough police officers, but we always need more. Absolutely, yeah. Thank you.
Mr Mayor, can I clarify when, I've had a fair bit to do with the police, and the police run 3 shifts. They have 62 officers, and this was the same number that they had when I was mayor. So when you do the calculations, 60 police officers, 3 shifts, police officers required to be in pairs to drive a car or to go to an event, which reduces the capacity of the police when you have a look at the, their operating model, there is a sergeant answering the phone, and there must be a police officer servicing the lockup. That is a requirement. The numbers are 2 in the police station, or 6 night shift, 6 afternoon shift, which reduces it to 2 cars. Port Hedland doesn't work at night. So you reduce the amount of police cars on the street to 2 cars per day. That's if there's nobody sick. Okay, if there's somebody sick and there's no replacement for him, it reduces the ability of the police to put cars on the road, to 1. And clearly you've got holidays and all of that sort of stuff going on. And when you're dealing with government, you've got, stress leave and all of those other things that reduce the capacity of the police. So, no, 60 is not enough for Port Hedland, considering when you have a look at the police figures, and we have, 1,300 domestic violence, 1,300 to, plus domestic violence reports per year in South Hedland, that requires significant resources, and that takes everybody off the road, because as soon as a report comes in, so that's 3 or 4 a week. So when that happens, everybody's off the road and there's no cars on the road, and then the town is not serviced by police. So there needs to be a clear increase in the personnel within the police station. There is no doubt about that. We know, and it's a fact.
Point of order through the chair.
Yes, Councillor.
Sorry to cut you off, Councillor. While I think these conversations are very important to be had, this is a decision-making forum, being a council. The time that we're in currently is for question time. I haven't heard a question in the 5 minutes that we've heard from the conversation. Again, happy to support you to have that conversation in the appropriate manner, but can I ask the meeting be brought back into the item for where it's being asked for, which is questions without notice from the council members, please.
Yes, that's correct.
So you're ruling, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Yes, what are we doing?
I'm upholding what he said.
Okay, so you shut me down on the police stuff. Yeah, okay.
Make it a question.
No
Thank
worries,
you.
thanks.
Okay, do you have any more questions, councillors? Okay, I'll move forward. Item number 9, declaration from all members have to show of hands that they're given due consideration to all matters contained within the agenda. Have a show of hands, please.
Mayor, I've, as you know, I've just flown in this morning, and I've had a few hours on it, but I haven't gone through everything as thoroughly as I'd normally like to. But yeah, I think I'm across a lot of it, but probably not all of it.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, thank you, councillor. Item number 10, confirmation of previous minutes. We have a recommendation before us that council confirm the minutes of ordinary council meeting held on Wednesday the 28th of February 2024 are a true and a correct record. Can I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Turner. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Christensen. Is anyone against? Motion is carried. Thank you, councillors. Before we move on to reports of community officers, I remind members of the public not to take any action on council's decisions on items on this evening agenda in which they may have an interest until formally notified in writing by the town has been received. Decisions made at this meeting can be revoked in line with the Government Act 1995. Reports from officers, there is nil. Now we're going to move forward and move these other 2 items up the scale, which was item number childcare ones. 12.2.2 and 12.1. Yeah, 12.2.2.
Councillor Christensen moved and Councillor Bennett seconded.
That's correct, yes.
Is that to a vote, Mr. Mayor?
Okay, so 12.2.2, can we put that to the vote? All those in favour of moving it forward?
Mr Mayor, point
Yes.
of order, can you state the item?
12.2.2?
Yes, you know, the requirement as per the standing orders is to state the item and read the content.
The content's on the screen. Thank you, Councillor.
Mr Mayor, at least read the first section, or would you like...
Proposed addition to alteration existing childcare centre.
Just clarification, councillors, this is just to bring the two items forward. It's not to actually deal with the items yet. We've already voted on that. No, we didn't take a vote. We've got a mover and a seconder, but we didn't take it to a vote. And Councillor Christensen wanted it. Sorry, here.
Okay, put it.
So yeah, I move it.
Move it, Councillor Christensen. Councillor Bennett, second. Okay, thank you, councillors. To the vote. All those in favour, move it forward. Thank you, councillors. Okay. Okay, so 12.2.2, proposed additions to alterations existing childcare centre use Rosenau Early Learning Centre, lot 2791 Baroni Close in South Headland. We have also a recommendation before us that requires a simple majority vote. That council approve the development application for proposed additions and alterations of existing childcare use, Rosenau Early Childhood Centre, subject to the conditions of the above notice displayed on the notice that the investigation to resolve traffic management issues will be undertaken to report to council, provided in the future meeting. Can I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Christensen. Can I have a seconder, please?
Seconded, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Blanco. Is there anyone against the motion? Motion is carried, absolute majority. Thank you, councillors. 12.3.2. 12.3.1. Okay. Okay. The other one was 12.3.1, which is the childcare expansion of 25 Baroni Close, South Headland.
Through the chair, Mr Mayor, before
Yes.
you read through the whole lot, can I just move that we make, I've suggested an amendment?
Yes, certainly, councillor.
Please. Is it up on the screen? As on the screen, I'm asking council to take in consideration. I've requested some changes to the only change. Sorry, let me start that again. The only change I'm requesting for this motion is into subsection 3. Is it? Do we have it available for the screen? Yes. So as you'll see there, not there. There it is. So as you can see, all I've done is just inserted some new words where it states, where is it? So where it says budget from its strategic reserves, I've added towards childcare developments as per the long-term financial plan for the Rosenau's project, and then I continued on with the current thing. So we've just added some words into that in relation, connecting it to our previous commitments.
Mr Mayor, if I can, before we deal with any amendments, you need the motion to be moved and seconded.
Yes.
You might want to seek Councillor Christensen's moving of the motion with that amendment, and then you can seek a seconder.
Exactly.
Thank you, Mr CEO. So therefore I will move with the request also to amend. Thank you.
Amendment. Okay. Can I have a second on that? Thank you, Councillor Bennett. Okay. Is anyone against?
Yes, Mr Mayor, I'm against.
Thank you, Councillor Blanco. Councillor Christensen.
So just clarifying, we are talking about now the amendment, correct? Not the substantive motion, correct?
No, Mr Mayor, he has moved the motion with the amendment.
With the amendment, correct.
And we've got a seconder, so
Yes.
it becomes a substantial motion. So we're talking on the motion.
Correct.
Yes. Okay. So the moving and seconding is fine. I object to the substantial motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Councillor Christensen.
Right. First and foremost, just want to reach out to say thanks again to the staff from Rosenau's for rocking up today, but also for your board members and the CEO also working tirelessly in the background to come and speak with us on several different occasions. It's much appreciated, and honestly do wish that a lot more non-for-profits and a lot more other groups take the initiative that you guys have taken to, I guess, push forward and be progressive in the areas that you guys are passionate about, which is clearly seen today with some passion being shown today. So first and foremost, thanks very much. To the other councillors here tonight, I'm very supportive of this from a number of faceted ways. When I first got into council, it was identified and spoken about in great detail that childcare is one of our top 3 priorities. I'm yet to see any paperwork or any council decisions that have been made to counteract that decision. As per my amendments, you'll see I've drawn reference to the long-term financial plan. Through that prioritisation to childcare, the council has penciled in some substantial amount of money for childcare and childcare developments. I'm just asking now that we be a bit more, I guess, specific with now stating that this is the project in which we wish to show our commitment to childcare within this town. You speak around the town, this is always on everybody's top hit list. You know, it's obviously housing and everything else is there, but childcare comes a close second or maybe a third sometimes, depending on who you talk to. But it's a service that, again, would not be able to be done, as other members of the public have said today. How do we support the people who want to live in this town staying around? And this is a good step in that right direction. When we talk about the funding, again, Council has indicated through the long-term financial plan that we are happy to pay this money already through the amount that has been stipulated in their long-term financial plan. So all I ask is that, again, Council stick to their commitments that they've already made to endorse this plan, endorse the money to go into this location, to this project. And like the other members have said, yes, there's going to be, as per the DA has stated, there's going to be a lot of work in the background here to get some other secondary concerns through the pipeline, being the traffic management and the parking, etc. But again, I think that's like was said in the galley today. That is going to have to come through the processes of this project management. So again, I'm happy to leave that as an opening statement, and I look forward to hearing other debate here tonight. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Christensen. Councillor Bennett.
All right, so from me, I think we actually need to support this. It's been identified as one of our town's priority issues for quite a number of years, and I think moving forward it's only going to become a bigger issue. This is a plan that has been given significant time, engagement, consideration and planning, and we have a small business that that is highly successful and with a long-standing trusted reputation of, as Gloria mentioned, 45 years, and they are great at what they do. This is a way of the town working together with a small business to help close a gap that is an immediate response to community needs. And I think we need to give them something to ensure that they continue to succeed. And if it be $3 million, then that's a starting point. But I think council do need to get behind this because they've done the hard yard, and all they're asking is support from us. The funding is already there, as Councillor Christensen has stated, and it's going to help pretty much this problematic issue within our town. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bennett. So anyone's against?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Bako, yes.
I can't support a proposal like this. The only way that I would be able to support this is if the town and the council provided me with the engagement that has been made over the past couple of years to the state and federal government on what we have tried to do to get the funding rather than using ratepayers' money. Now, the council needs to remember that that this is ratepayers' money, and ratepayers' money is supposed to be spent on the 4 R's: rates, recreation, rubbish, and roads. So that is the core function of the town. Now, when you have a look at the responsibilities of state and federal governments, it states that it is the responsibility of both levels of government, the state and the federal, in the provision and funding of child services. They help fund the service and plan, set and maintain operating standards, provide operational and capital funding to providers, and provide dispute resolution and complaint management processes. That is the mandate of the state and federal government on child care. So also, you know, the town has revamped childcare services in Headland previously, and they did it at the old TAFE site in South Headland, but the town didn't pay for it. That was fully funded by BHP. Okay, so, you know, we managed the fit out, but the funds were provided by industry. Now, if we continue to go down the road of taking on state and federal responsibilities, you know, we're clearly going to bankrupt the town. And, you know, there's a few items that are coming up tonight that are clearly state and federal responsibilities that are worth tens of millions of dollars that we're committing to, you know, put ratepayers' money to. Now, the service that is, you know, and I commend the people for coming out, because, you know, this is how you actually trying to change the minds of you know, the councils that are making decisions here. You all come out and you all have your say, and that's what it's about. But we're dealing with ratepayers' money, all right? And what it leads to, if we spend our money in the wrong areas and not our mandate, is just increasing costs across the board. So the you know, the childcare sector already gets their funding from the state and federal governments, you know, through child protection and child services, and you know, the departments of the state and federal government. But allocating $3 million of ratepayers' money will set a standard that will ensure that other providers are coming to our door and wanting us to fund things that should be funded by the state and federal government. Now, the presentation revealed that, you know, this proposal, you know, could cost up to $8 million. So, you know, $3 million is not going to cut it. And we were told that the town is considering taking on the development of this proposal. So, you know, we're the ones that are going to be paying for the full amount if we don't get external funding. Now, I don't see anywhere in the reports that actually state we have, you know, external funding from any sources to do this proposal. Additionally, the previous item, if you had read it, states that there's an additional 1.5 million that needs to be spent on the road. So, you know, straight away, if we apply 3 million, another 1.5, there's 4.5 million straight away, all right, of ratepayers' money to go to this. And potentially, we will be spending more ratepayers' money because the funding shortfall is significant. And if the state and federal government were going to fund something like this, they would already handed the money over, because we've got all of these people here that want this proposal to go forward. So I'm sure that they have tried to engage with the state and federal government before they came to the local government. So
Sorry, quiet for the gallery, please. Thank you.
So while it may seem like it's a good idea to invest in childcare development, and that the current management of the centre might be fine, okay, and they might be able to handle, you know, the development and the increase in childcare places, I'm going to take you back to what we experience as a town. in our experience, the town of Port Hedland, with investing into non-for-profits, the ratepayers always come off second best. And we are left holding the bag when it comes to, non-for-profits failing to live up to their obligations in the outgoing costs of these proposals. So, and additionally, the proposal's success is directly coupled to the biggest business problems that we have in Hedland. Some of those are the cost of building and maintaining the asset, workers' availability, the extreme workforce costs because of the competition with industry, you know, the extreme costs of insurance, the reductions of the residential base that we're going to see because of the continued FIFO camp approvals that we're making, which reduces the demand on these services anyway. The other point to consider is approving this opens the door for all of the other childcare services to come in and request the same from the town's ratepayers. The other issue is, you know, to apply, we are going to apply, you know, $3 million of ratepayers' money tonight if you pass this. Now, I haven't seen any financial reports to support the ability of the you know, the proponents, you know, offer here, or the costs that are generated by the expansion, you know, in staff and ongoing costs. Now, you know, we clearly got experience in this where the non-for-profits that have come to us in the past and we've lent them significant amounts of money, we end up paying for it in the end because the business model is not correct, and what is stated to us in the start of these proposals is clearly an overreach of their abilities. So, in conclusion, I don't want to hear from any councillors on, you know, what they disagree with me on. What I want to hear about is how do you, you know, change my mind when, you know, there is clear problems with our past decision making and, you know, the ability of non-for-profits to actually you know, sustain the business that they're in, you know, because of the extreme costs associated with doing business in Port Hedland. What I would like to see is that we advocate and request strongly to the state and federal government to invest in childcare in Port Hedland. It is their responsibility. We need to be banging on their door. We've got a delegation going to Canberra shortly. That should be top of the list with housing, you know, and we need to push it that way rather than spending ratepayers' money. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Blanco. Anyone else for? Yes, Councillor Turner.
Yeah, look, I'll speak. Thank you for your comments. I would draw attention to point 3 of the motion in that the commitment of the $3 million is conditional upon a proviso that it's matched by grant funding. I think in the briefing notes that were provided, the feedback had been Rosenauers has engaged with state and federal government. They had applied for, I believe it was Better Futures funding or the equivalent. Sorry, Growing Regions, sorry. There's a lot of grants that you come across my table. The feedback they got was that they, as I understand it, required some assurity so that they could progress their grant. So I think that engagement is evidenced the feedback they've got provides some, I don't want to say hope, but there's encouragement that application moving forward would be looked favourably if they are able to partner. And I believe it is a responsibility of council to make these sort of considerations. I appreciate Councillor Blanco's comments about core business. I believe that the conditions and circumstances we find ourselves in are requiring us to sort of think and think critically about what that business looks like going into the future, and the requirement to consider critical issues, critical services, and what it is we can do as local government to support that. I think the other, in terms of the business model that Rosenauers operates, I think there is confidence in that. They have been operating for 45 years. They have successfully managed their business of childcare, and I think that's worth noting and has value to the adds value to the proposal. I would say that this represents. The other point I would make, of course, is that this is not a new build. This is actually an investment in our own infrastructure. This is the asset of council itself, of the town of Port Hedland. So this is not a grant that we're giving away. This is an investment that we're making into our own infrastructure, and my personal view is that the $3 million is a start. It possibly might be a bit light, but we will see as we go. So look, look. I'm fully supportive of this proposal, and I thank the Rosenauers team for coming in, and we'll go from there.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. Viewers against? Yes, Councillor.
Mayor Carter, Gloria and Nikki, love your presentation, and I agree wholeheartedly. Probably the biggest problem in my mind in this town is, apart from crime, is the lack of childcare and daycare. Just backing up what Milo mentioned, and again, I'm just new to this. I haven't read everything, all the corresponding documentation, and thank you, Councillor Turner, for pointing out the match by grant funding. I assume that grant funding will be state or federal. But what would there be, and I guess I'm asking you directly, Gloria, what would there be? I mean, it's hard in business, and I know in business, my own businesses myself, but I'd hate to see another ratepayer funded not-for-profit like the Bowls Club, the Finney Club, the Rec Club, Tennis Club, Yacht Club, end up in a situation where we kind of hedge our bets and put all our eggs in your basket as a business. Obviously, you're a successful business that you've had, for a number of years, and the fact that you've ridden the waves of the boom and bust cycles that we see in this town. For us to take a punt, and I say that punt because I know, as Councillor Turner just mentioned, investment is on improving infrastructure, so it's not just a grant per se. But what have you, with relation to the council, put in place, or kind of, is there any sort of assurances or business plans or anything that makes sure that we as a council are not spending another $4.5 million, $3 million on development, $1.5 million on roads? We know government spending never goes to budget. It ends up being $6-7 million, and then there's 10% of our annual budget gone on something that potentially could end up like a bunch of the other not-for-profits in this town that have gone south. So I support wholeheartedly what you're doing. I love what you're doing. I think it's fantastic, and I applaud you for it. I'm just nervous, as is, I guess, Milo, is the risk that we take on behalf of the ratepayers' money when realistically childcare is a state government and federal government expense.
No, we're in debate. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ari. Okay. Anyone else for? Yes, Councillor Bella.
I'd like to speak. Firstly,
Sorry, gallery, be quiet, please. Thank you.
Firstly, I thank the team from Rosenhaus to come and present. I also thank fellow councillors who've spoken for and who've spoken against. I would just like to address the point that you have made, Councillor McRae, and that is that what is the surety that, you know, that the money is being, what is the risk involved? Now, comparing them with a community group where there is no technical expertise to manage the money versus having a sound service provider with 45 years of experience, I would say when you lend money, there is that element of risk. And I appreciate that. I mean, I acknowledge that you coming from a business background are saying that. But what I'm trying to say is that the risk is being matched by their sort of ability to manage that risk. So please consider that as well. I'd also like to say that I do acknowledge that it is state and federal responsibility, but at the same time, our town needs this service. The facility will provide childcare, 90 spaces, to 6-week-plus babies, all up to the age of 5. And that is something that the community is screaming for. So I acknowledge what is said against it's fair, but at the same time, there is this need which is present and needs to be addressed. There are women who would like to get into workforce. There are children who'd like safe and reliable childcare, and there are service workers that would like to be employed, that would, need that employment. So I would say, in the spirit of all of that, I would encourage my fellow councillors to vote for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bella. Anyone else against? Anyone else for? Councillor Christian, let's sum up.
Right, yeah, this has been a good debate actually, so thanks everybody for taking part. It's pretty enjoyable when it's like this. I do want to just start by acknowledging a few other things that have been acknowledged and just hit it home as well. I too am a little bit not so much concerned, but doubtful on some of the dollar values that have been put down here. We are in the early development of this plan from a town taking it over perspective. Again, like Councillor Turner has mentioned, it's very clear that this is on proviso that we are getting the match funding, but also there goes on further to say that that work cannot commence until that has been achieved. I draw attention to councillors as well that although we are, as it says, allocate $3 million, that's a commitment that we wish to allocate $3 million from strategic to this project. We can't lock in budget until the 24-25 budget is asked of us. So there are several controls that are in our midst at the moment to ensure that blowout doesn't take place without us understanding the ramifications and the risk associated. There's controls in place that ensure that now by us taking this in-house that we are now putting our trust in our own people who have multitudes of policies and frameworks in place to help manage and put this through to its fruition. Again, I draw reference to the simple fact that council have committed on a number of levels and a number of facets to this. When we talk through our strategic implementation, when it goes through the community development plan, we've committed this. When we talk through the economic development tourism strategy, we've committed to this. And there's so many of our guiding documents that say this is a great location, this is a great project to be invested in, because again, it is lacking severely. And while I do appreciate and respect the comments made in relation to, yes, it is a state and federal government-led portfolio, it also says that Town of Port Hedland or a local government authority does get involved in times where those services are lacking or fallen over. In my opinion, the state and federal government have respectfully dropped the ball in some areas. If we were to jump on the bandwagon and push hard to try and get them on board to 100% fund this, I think that we're looking down the barrel of 2-3+ years before we see traction in this space. My question now to the other councillors before you cast your vote, can we wait another 2 years? Can we wait another 3 years? Or is $3 million a sound investment to further upgrade our facility to help better foster a stronger relationship between two parties that we have right now? And to me, this is well within our remit, well within our wheelhouse to work with and partnership with organisations that have been around 40 plus years of established, well-run service providing. So again, while I do appreciate the concerns, I think there are so many there's so many safety nets that we have at our disposal right now that if, let's just say it goes past $3 million, it will come back to us and make a decision before we can commit to that. So again, there are so many things that we can control if everybody's worried about the dollar values being spent. So right now, I see this as just the start of a process that we need to get started to ensure that we put something back into the childcare of this town. So again, thanks very much for the debate, guys. It's been much appreciated. And yeah, I'll leave that where it is. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Councillor Christensen. Okay, now put it to the vote. All those in favour? 6. Those against? 2. Motion's carried. Thank you, councillors. That's the beginning. That's the start. Okay, item number 12, reports from officers. 12.1, corporate services. 12.1.1, minutes of the Audit and Risk Compliance Committee held on the 12th of March 2024. We have also often recommendation before us that a simple majority vote the council receive the unconfirmed minutes of the Audit, Risk and Compliance Committee held on the 12th of March 2024. Can I have a mover, please?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Blanco. I have a seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Butson. Is anyone against the motion? Motion's carried. Thank you, councillors. 12.1.2, statement of financial activity for February 2024. We have an office recommendation before us that requires a simple majority vote. That council, 1, receive the statement of financial activity, and 2, receive the material variance report, and 3, note the accounts paid under delegated authority, and 4, receive the purchasing credit card statements, and 5, receive the investment summary report, and 6, receive the capital project list for the period ending 29th February 2024. Can I have a mover, please?
Mr. Mayor, can I just request some info?
Certainly, Councillor.
I want to request the info on the payment 28th 11th 23, reinstatement to Yandia Road for 370,700, creditors number 10048, is there a reference number? 27491. As well, I want to know what 10104 creditors number, what the upgrade to the Wyeth link for Port Hedland. I don't understand. There's 2 payments there. It's $60,000, about 60 grand. So is that for a specific building, or is it for the whole of Hedland? Can I just get some just get a response on that? I don't need one now.
Okay, Steve, took notice. Okay, we'll take notice for you. Thank you, Mr. Baker.
I also want some info on a creditor 10128 for that was about $12,000. How does that payment? How is that payment made? Who authorises it? How is it done? Considering it involves a council member, and also in reference to a sundry payment 14112023, the same deal for 5,000. How does that happen? Can I just get some info on that? Thanks, that's all I have. And I'll move the item, thank you.
Okay. We'll take that on notice for you. Thank you, Councillor.
I also move the item, Mr Mayor.
You've got it. Okay. Thank you, Councillor Blanco. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Rebello. Is anyone against? Motion is carried. Thank you, councillors. Moving on, number 12.1.3, investment policy review. We have office recommendation before us that council, this requires an absolute majority, that council 1 adopts a revised policy 2-010 council investment, and 2 endorse the appointment of Prudential Investment Advisory Services. Can I have a mover, please?
Mr Mayor, I need some clarification on this one. I just want to know whether you know, the both policies are pretty much the same. Obviously, it's to do with our you know, a large you know, investment portfolio. But what I want to know is, have we moved away from investing our money with the major banks, and are we moving to you know, a higher risk sort of policy by moving our money away from banks? So in 2019, the council was adamant that you know, our 160 million or whatever we had was to be invested within the banking system. Because of the bank guarantees by the government, so you know, the risk was effectively diminished. So that's what I need to know. Have we moved away from that and we're investing in other areas, or is it still with just banks?
I'll ask the director to answer for you.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and through the chair. No, the investments are still with the Australian major banks. If anything, the changes to the policy, and there are a couple of others, but you picked up on quite a good one there. The revised policy actually tightens up our investing, in that we will no longer be investing with BBB- rated banks, which are considered more risky.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'll move that item. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Blanco. Is there a seconder for the item? Thank you, Councillor Rebello. Is there anyone against the item? Motion is carried. Thank you, councillors. 12.1.4, Proposed Rating Strategy 2025-2030. We have office recommendation before us that requires a simple majority vote. That Council 1 endorses the proposed rating strategy for local advertising and seats ratepayer for the community stakeholder feedback, and 2, delegate the CEO direction towards finalising the document style before releasing for the community engagement. Can I have a mover, please?
Mr Mayor, I'd like to suggest that we lay this on the table and come back to the next council meeting, and I have some reasons for that. If you would like me to state them, that's fine. Otherwise, I'll vote against it, and we'll be talking about it anyway.
Point of clarification, can I just request, is a councillor moving a procedural motion?
Or to defer, or you?
To defer to the next meeting, yes. But I'll give you the reasons for it, if you like.
This is only to go to advertising.
I understand that, but policy is a council responsibility, and we need to be clear on our policies before we take it to advertising. Okay. Would you like an explanation?
Yeah, please, yeah.
Okay, obviously it's not an urgent item, so I think some changes need to be made. Firstly, I don't think we should be giving the CEO any discretion on policy development. I think we need to, as a council, grab hold of it and ensure that we understand the policy that we're passing. There's a section in there that I don't agree with. It says a quote from the policy: rate concessions will not be proposed to council outside of the budget process. So effectively, I'll just state it off the top of my head, from the 31st of March, you know, no member of the community will be able to put an application in for concession. So that's in 4 days. You're going to amend this tonight. They got 4 days to put their concessions in for the next budget. But in the past, there has been a big problem with rate concessions. And when the cut-off period is made, nobody knows that there's a cut-off period. So all of the non-for-profits or whatever put their application in after the fact. All right. By approving this policy, effectively, you are instructing the administration to follow the framework, which will mean that any applications that come to the administration after the 31st of March will not be processed, and we won't know anything about them, and they don't have to tell us, right, unless we ask. All right, so I think that piece needs to come out, and we need to allow the non-for-profit community, which is the major people that want concessions, the opportunity to come to the council, even though they have issues putting their paperwork in. It's a big problem. They've got people problems as well. These things happen all the time. It's nothing new. So I think we should be, making sure that the policy is right before adopting it. Now, the other issue that I have with it is the interim rates. The old policy has a section in there on interim rates, and the new policy I can't see it. So I want to know whether the new policy has shifted the interim rates proposal to an internal policy of the administration. Okay, whether you have an internal policy on how to deal with interim rates. For those of you that don't know about interim rates, the interim rates are triggered by, most commonly by, a building or planning approval completion, okay? And then the town will request a revaluation on the people's property. And then you get an interim rates notice. Now, the old policy says that the trigger is $20, okay? Now, I hear all the time with the council on, we're overloading the administration and all that sort of stuff, $20 to trigger an interim rate notice halfway through the year is unreasonable, I think. I think maybe that number should be between 500 and 1,000. And then we wait till the next financial year to adjust. So they're my issues with the policy. I think that's all I have at the moment.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Berger. Is there a seconder?
Point of order for the chair. I see some confused faces. Can we please just clarify that we are just talking about the procedural motion to defer the decision, please?
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. And we have a mover and we have a seconder. Okay. Put to the vote. All those in favour? Was it 3? Was against? 5. Lost. Thank you. Okay, we get a move of the office recommendation. Thank you, Councillor Christensen. A seconder. Thank you, Councillor Turner. Someone against? Councillor Christensen.
Rightio. So I'll start by prefacing that again, while I agree with some sentiments that have just been discussed during the explanation for the need to defer the motion, I will draw reference to the fact that we are only endorsing that the rating strategy goes to the public to allow them the opportunity to provide us with some feedback, while I'm assuming at the same time we as council can still deliberate and discuss this matter and this motion moving forward. I'm not in favour of moving it any further than now, again because it's got no direct link to approving anything that was suggested. However, it also then allows us to then make it the start in the long-winded process of getting our budget ready for 24-25, which this will be a big part of. We're also in the middle of discussing the LTFP, which will have assumptions in relation to this as well. So I think this is pretty important to get this out to the public, to ask for their feedback before we make any changes, and again, just play the big back and forth. End of the day, it comes back to our decision at the end of the day, and I look forward to having these more conversations, because again, you bring up some good points I'd like to know a bit more about when you have some spare time. So right now, I think this is this is a good motion to put forward to allow some more information to come back to us when it comes in relation to allowing a delegation for the CEO. As far as I'm concerned, the way I read that was it was just changing the document style in which way it's laid out, nothing to do with the intent of the document or how the document is to be read or how the document is to be implemented. So happy to be corrected on that if I'm incorrect in that assumption. But other than that, I think that this motion is fairly speaks for itself, and I'm happy to allow it to go forward. So I'll wait to hear what everyone else has to say. Thanks.
Right, thank you, Councillor Christensen. Councillor Turner.
Look, I concur with those comments. This is it's important to initiate the process to get out to the public for feedback. Certainly acknowledge the points that have been made by Councillor Blanco, and I think they are of interest and require exploration and understanding. But that can be done through this stakeholder feedback and feedback through council. So. And again, I agree with the comments regarding the CEO's discretion. It's really around stylising a document as opposed to content. So that's why I'll sort of push this forward.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Turner. Anyone against? Councillor Blanco.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm just trying to find my spot here. Okay, so obviously you've heard what I had to say. I want a few things changed in there. You know, I understand that I actually probably thought that this was going to be adopted tonight, but I see we got public advertising, which is great. But you know, it is incumbent on us to you know, make sure we read these sort of things and we understand what it's about, and you know, we do the research and have an understanding of what policies or what's within the policies and how that affects the people that we represent. So obviously I've given you a couple of points there. I'm sure that the one or two people that read it in the community will agree with me, and we'll be changing this when it comes back to council for adoption. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Blanco. Anyone else for? Anyone against? Councillor Christian, please.
No, I'm pretty happy to leave it at that. The only thing I will draw reference to, for those one or two people that do read it in the community, I do commend the change in thought process from the administration currently, with some additions in relation. The specified area rating, I think, is a unique premise that's been taken on board to look into and see what the community does feel about that. But again, overall, I think the document is a pretty honest, I guess, look at the way that we wish to run the rates moving forward, addressing both the fairness and the equity, the consistency, but and also just the transparency that we're hoping to be able to put forward to the community. And again, the transparency goes the both ways now. We're hoping that the community do buy into this, have a good look at this and have an understanding. If you need some questions, we've got 9 representatives sitting here. We might not be able to answer it, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to put my hand up to say I'm the most smartest man when it comes to the rates. However, between the 9 of us, I'm sure we can find the right answers for anybody that does have some questions. So for those who are listening out in the nether regions of the internet, the streaming in tonight, please get involved. We really do want your feedback, and I do hope that council approve this tonight to allow that opportunity to go to the public. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Okay, all those in favour? Motion's carried. Absolute majority. Thank you, councillors.
That's the first time you've changed my mind.
12.2.1 Spallbank Marina Move the clearance of land tenure condition JDAP approval. Do we have a
I'll move that, Mr Mayor.
Sorry. Oh, have a declaration.
Oh, you have.
Just Councillor has a declaration. Yeah, yeah. Beach partiality. Yeah. Okay, we have a simple office recommendation before us that requires a simple majority vote. That council proposes the stage towards a land tenure resolution, and 2 notes that the Marina Basin and Rock Revetment boat ramp, jetty, boat pens are not included within the town's land tenure. And 3 particularly clears condition 13 of the Joint Development Assessment Panel in relation to stage 1 tenure. And 4 delegates the CEO and his delegate as a performance task necessary to detail within the report and response to the Department of Transport confidential letter. And 5, note that clearance of stage 2 and the condition 13 of the JDAP application for Spoilbank Marina is the endorsement of any association of legal document that was subject to the future report to council. Go over mover, please. Councillor Blanco. Yeah, thank you, Councillor Blanco. Have a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Butson. Anyone against the motion? Motion's carried, absolute majority. Thank you, councillors. Two to two, done. 224. 224. 224. Yeah. Oh, the road line, yeah. 2.2.3, the proposed realignment of existing street names. We have an office recommendation before us that requires a simple majority vote. That 1, that council supports the unnaming of Morton Way to a portion of the Silicon Road Wedgefield, and 2, support the relocation of Metallica Loop and the proportion Silicon Road Wedgefield, and 3, support the extension of Hamer Park Drive in Wedgefield. Mover, please.
I move, Mr Mayor.
Mover, thank you, Councillor Blanco. Have a seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Bennett. Is anyone against that motion? No, motion is carried, absolute majority. Thank you, councillors. Now, 2.2.4, the business plan of a major land transaction, lot 5996, Collier Drive, South Headland. We have an office recommendation before us that requires a simple majority vote. That council notes the item listed in items 2, 1, 2 and 3 of this recommendation as displayed endorses a draft business plan of a major land transaction, authorises the CEO to make minor amendments that do not alter the intent and request that the CEO or his delegate commence statewide and local public notice of the business plan within public request allocated in the plan presented back to council for final endorsement. Can I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. Second, please. Councillor Rebello, thank you. Is anyone against the motion?
I am, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, Councillor Turner.
Okay, well, like childcare, this touches on the importance of housing for Town of Port Hedland and or for the community. This has been a priority for council for some time, for at least the last 2 years, if not 3. It is a critical piece of social infrastructure, and I think that we need to make this this investment so that we can keep this process going.
Yes. Thank you, Councillor Turner. Councillor Rebello.
I'll make 3 quick points. One is this is already being budgeted and it's part of the Q2 budget. Secondly, the state government has already allocated the 4.5 million towards this housing, towards this development. And thirdly, that this will now go out for public comments and which will be collected and the business plan will be presented back to council. So that is the intention of it. So I would hope that those against it bear that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rebello. Is anyone against?
Yes, Mr Mayor.
Yes, Councillor Blanco.
Look, again, I say that, you know, these tens of millions that you're committing to the responsibility of, well, these tens of millions that you're committing to housing, you know, is inappropriate for a local government to invest in. This is a state government responsibility. Housing is, you know, an area that the costs blow out significantly, you know, to private housing owners or investors. And so when you have a local government or a state government, well, let's leave the local government out of this for a minute, but when you have a state government that invests in housing, and you have seen the carnage in Headland that is committed to the social housing stock that we've got here, that has forced the state government to remove its investment in housing across Headland. They started the process in the late or you know the mid to late 90s, and the state government stated, okay, we're going to sell off all of our end-of-life stock and then use that money to build new. The issue was they just didn't build any new ones, they kept the money. And the reason why the state government is not investing in housing, especially in remote WA, is because of the costs associated with the maintenance and you know, servicing of the asset, and the detriment to the state budget. Okay, it's a huge cost. Now, when you look at the Langdalen report that was commissioned by the state government in 2018 or late 2017 and 2018, it absolutely hammered the Barnett government on the investment in the Osprey estate. Okay, the budget estimate for Osprey at 130 units was 99 million. And they ended up doing the development for, I think it was 92. That's what the report says. The Langdalen report went into the issues associated with infrastructure builds and local government. All right, and that local government didn't have the capacity, the knowledge, the know-how, the experience to invest such large amounts of money into proposals like that, and they shouldn't have done it. And that was a big election, you know, statement by the Labor government in 2018. Now, I'm very surprised that now the state government has actually issued us with whatever it is, 4.5 million, you know, to build a service workers' housing, when they absolutely hammered the previous government for actually doing it and said that, you know, the requirement wasn't there. Okay. But again, in 2013, both sides of politics said that, you know, they have failed in their investment in social housing or, you know, service workers' housing in regional WA, and that they needed to do better in the downturn. Well, we've had a couple of downturns already, and they have done nothing to you know, to combat the issues that, you know, Headland and the Pilbara and most of WA have. The other thing the Langdalen report said was the 130 houses that was built for Port Hedland didn't even make a dent in the problem that we had and the issues associated with huge rents. So there needed to be far more investment to actually, you know, reduce the costs associated with, you know, the rental markets in Port Hedland and the Pilbara. So, again, my point, you know, you know, it's a historical thing. We've always had issues with housing. It is a state government responsibility. Senator Lambie in Tasmania forced the federal government to apply $1 billion worth of funding to Tasmania to sort out the housing issue. All right, we should be talking to the feds and the state government and forcing them to invest in their responsibility. Putting this responsibility onto the town of Port Hedland's budget will be detrimental to us moving forward and the ability of our budget to service the ongoing maintenance and all of the other things that are associated with having housing developments or having a housing portfolio. So I'm definitely against using ratepayers' money for investing in service workers' housing. It's clearly a state government responsibility. I understand this is a business case that needs to go to public comment, but that still does not, lead me to believe that we should be even considering something like this. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Blanco. Anyone else for? Anyone else against? Oh, sorry, Councillor. Yes, Councillor.
Thanks again for everyone partaking so far in the debate. I guess I'll start by preferencing yes. Again, this may fall into the direct line of state and federal sort of remit on what they should and shouldn't be doing. Again, draw reference to some comments made in relation to, although we might not have the exact expertise all the time, I find it interesting to see that time and time again, when you look at the local government sector as a whole in WA and even the broader nation at the moment, we seem to be delivering about 25% of all required duties for a government body, and yet we seem to only be doing it on a 1% of Australia's GDP. So that figure alone should show us that the local government authority punches well and truly above its weight when it comes to dollars invested. I'll bring back again, the comments were made again in tonight's public question and statement time. This is a direct lifeline to the key workers of our town who are having their backs against the wall, waiting for the state and federal government to initiate this sort of project. I commend the administration for listening and also suggesting, but also listening to fellow councillors throughout the last 2 years I've been here to try something different and put something into practice. Councillors here tonight have debated the fact that yes, we need to be getting state, federal and industry involved in these, and guess what? A business plan is a good way to start to get the advocacy piece out there to see what is out there. Yet again, although it's been allocated through the LTFP, no budgets have been concreted in yet. So yet again, it comes back to the fact is we don't know where we stand unless we start asking the question. To me, a sound business plan is a very good piece of paper to be having when we are going to be going over to Canberra to have these conversations, and I've got no doubt that this will be one of the biggest conversations on the table when we do have them with the politicians and members over in Canberra, and when we do go to Wolga and talk to other people in WA. Without these business plans, I don't see how we can advocate to state, federal and industry to ask them for what we want, ask them for their commitment and their piece of the puzzle. So right now, I hope council support this motion to at least put it, to endorse the draft business plan, but also to put it out for public consultation so we can again bring it back to ourselves to have these conversations. And I do welcome conversations in this realm. You know, let's set some meetings, let's have these hard conversations. I actually think this will be a good piece of the puzzle. But again, let's commend the $4.5 million that have been committed by the government to date. Although 10% of the piece, it's still a 10% piece that we never had originally. And again, this is what you get when you start asking the question and start putting some paper in front of the people that are wanting to spend some money for us. So again, commend the government for at least putting their hat in the ring with a $4.5 million investment in relation to this project. Again, please, councillors, I do urge you to support this motion to put it through so we can get some more endorsements and some more feedback on where we stand with it. So thanks very much.
Great. Thank you, Councillor Christensen. Anyone else against? Yes, Councillor Gray.
Thanks, Ash, for that explanation. Again, just probably talking more from my own ignorance about this whole system. What has the town of Port Hedland committed in the Q2 budget to this project?
Mr.
Craig.
Yeah, so
CEO, that's it.
Mr Mayor, Councillor McRae, once we commence a process of moving and seconding an item when we're in debate, you need to make your comments for or against the item. Happy to provide a clarification if there's one needed, and I guess I'll treat your request as a clarification. The amount put in as a deposit for the purchase of the land is what was in Q2, but I think your comments need to be about convincing your colleagues for or against the particular officer recommendation before you.
Thank you, CEO.
yeah, thank you, CEO. Yeah, look, I do share Councillor Blanco's concerns about spending ratepayers' money on property in a town that is, those of us that have owned property in this town and been through the boom and bust cycle, it's we're probably at a time that, you know, the town's got a lot of future potential growth and a lot of opportunities that are still ahead of us, but we've seen how quickly it all comes crashing down, and with the global economy and the political stage that's sort of in front of us at the moment, I'm just a little bit nervous about spending anyone's money, certainly our ratepayers, on anything to do with property right now, when we've seen, you know, it seems to be a 10 to 12 year cycle where we go to boom to bust, and I'd hate to be responsible for spending serious chunks of our ratepayers' cash for property when you know, it just, you know, it feels like with some crazy things happening, particularly in and around the US right now, that we could be in for a major correction, and I'd hate to be the one that made that loss on our ratepayers' behalf.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Anyone else for? Anyone else against? Councillor Turner, sum up, please.
Really, again, appreciate the points that have made in debate, and I think I can say probably all the council has expressed the frustration that we have experienced around a lack of investment in housing. There's significant investment that's been made in the economic infrastructure coming from federal and state, and yet we are it's slow to see the investment in the social infrastructure, which includes housing. So I share that sentiment. What I would say though is that picking up on the points made by Deputy Mayor Christensen, that we need the business plan, we need to move forward, we need to be able to take this on the road, whether it be state government or in Canberra. So this work becomes critically important, and it needs to be supported. Otherwise, we've got nothing. We really have nothing. So, you know, we want to sort of push this through and get the support and use it to support the advocacy piece. That's my summation. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. We'll now approach to the vote. All those in favour? 5. All those against? 3. Motion's passed. Thank you. Thank you, councillors. 12.3.2. Okay, moving on to 12.3.2, the South Headland General Practice Service. Yes, partially. Yep.
With regard to agenda item 12.3.2, South Headland General Practice Service Review, I disclose that I have an impartiality interest because my employer is BHP. As a consequence, there may be a perception that my impartiality on the matter may be affected. So I declare that I will consider this matter on its merit and vote accordingly.
Thank you, Councillor Bennett. Okay, so we have an office recommendation before us that Council require a simple majority vote. The Council notes the Headland General Practice Services Review and its recommendations. Can I have a mover, please?
Mr Mayor, I need to comment on this. I will move it, but
So you're moving it?
I'll move with a comment. I look, the report's okay. You know, I don't have any issues with the report, but what we don't talk about here, you know, real issues leading to the demise of health services in Hedland. And you know, across regional WA, and what should be done to fix it. Now, you know, there's a doctor retention issue that is created by the federal government. The feds are the ones that deal with GPs, and the importing of foreign doctors and the requirement for them to, you know, to come up to standard with Australian standards. That becomes a big issue because their quality is not the same as our doctors that are trained in Australia. Now, the other issue, the big issue in Hedland is that we had a medical centre, and it's positioned, you know, anyone that's lived here a long time knows, it is across from the library in South next to, you know, Coles. That's where all the doctors used to be. It was a state government funded facility. It also had the dentist in it. But when they shut it down because it was end of life, they said, or they shut it down, the Labor government shut it down in 2017, and that they were going to build a new one. They never did. And the facility is still there rotting. The state government
point of order.
needs to...
Certainly, Councillor.
I know you must be frustrated, but you did call to order that we stick to the gazetted. Last time I checked, we haven't asked for a seconder. We haven't asked for anyone against. And again, with all due respect, we're in starting debate. When you call for a mover and you indicate you wish to move, then I wish that you move and then go into the moving person's. I'll wait for a seconder, then wait for someone against before we go into comment, please, because I don't see where in the agenda, and I'm happy to be corrected by the Mayor or by the CEO, where it says that we can move and comment, please, and thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor. So you move the item, Councillor Blanco? Okay. Yeah, have a seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Rebello. Thank you. Anyone against the motion? Councillor Christensen, thank you. Councillor Blanco, speak for it.
Okay, as I was saying, I'm glad that the deputy has voted against it. I don't understand why you would, because, you know, it's just a report. You know, this creates a situation that makes us talk about it, okay? I didn't think anyone would vote against it because it's just a report, okay? But, again, state government responsibility. They're lacking in their responsibility to provide services to regional areas like Port Hedland. And the classic example is, you know, the medical centre that we used to have in South Hedland that all the doctors used, and the dentist and the psychs and all of the others, all right? It was there, and they used that facility, you know, at a reduced rate, and everything was fine and cosy until the state government shut it down and then forced the operators to go into the private sector, increasing their operational costs exponentially, creating massive issues, you know, with service providers, you know, in regional areas like Port Hedland. So again, you know, it's a state government responsibility. They need to be sorting this out. They need to be investing in Port Hedland, and we need to be giving them a kick in the backside. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Blanco. Councillor Rebello.
Councillor Blanco has spoken a fair bit already, and I sort of echo those sentiments. Again, pointing out to what he said, this is merely a report, it is an important report, and one that has been put to commission by Town of Port Hedland, BHP, FMG. So it is a report that has been presented by or conducted by Rural Health West, which identifies barriers and enables, you know, the setting up of medical centres. And it is for us to note, it is for council to note the report. And so I would urge fellow councillors to go ahead and vote for it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Rebello. Is anyone against? Councillor Christensen.
Yep, thanks for the debate. So, let me preface this debate that I'm going to have by first stipulating that I do not disagree with the content in the report. I wish to make this opportunity to start to express my concerns in relation to how, not so much the OCMs are run, but the intent in which the OCMs are in place here. We sit in council, and as we all indicate, we are here, and a lot of us are time-strapped. The administration can be time-strapped. I think we need to start to bring decisions and officers' recommendations to this forum for a decision-making purpose. I challenge every councillor sitting here tonight, if you approve this, what are we approving? We're approving that, yes, we have received a document that we can receive at any point in time. I don't see why we need to receive a document that has no legal legislation requirements. I think that we can receive this in a forum like a briefing. We can receive this in a special council meeting. Like, there's so many other forums that we can be doing this in. Because I know that we've been recently advised that our meetings are going longer and longer, and as we all know, decision-making ability starts to wane the longer that we are here. So again, the report, thanks for it getting put to place, thanks for the parties involved to make it happen, and thanks again for the findings, and yes, they are important to this town. Again, I wish just to advise that as a councillor right now, I don't feel that this is great use of our time just to be debating and noting documents all the time. So that's my personal opinion on the matter. But again, that's all I've got to say on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Christensen. Everyone else for? Yes, Councillor Turner.
Yeah, I understand what Deputy Mayor Christensen's saying, but I do think that it is important to actually bring the attention in terms of the recommendations that sit with the plan to the chamber, so that they're acknowledged publicly. There's nothing in here that we don't already know, and medical and health services are in crisis. You know, in terms of, I mean, people are having to fly to Perth to actually go see a GP, you know, if they can't make it. I mean, that's the sort of situation we're often in. And for those that can afford it, that's wonderful. But there's a majority that will never be able to do that. Now, that's not necessarily contained in the report, but it does go to about access. So I think it's important to put it into the chamber and to acknowledge the, you know, what are the critical and crisis issues that are confronting the health service, and then again taking this forward as an advocacy piece. So that's why I'm for it.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Turner. Anyone else against? Anyone else for? Councillor Blanco, what's up?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There's not much more to say, but I do agree with the deputy. And I did have a point there that I didn't say, and what is the point of bringing this report to council? I didn't say that, but you know, it is. Look, at the end of the day, you know, obviously we've got the report. What we need to be stressing to the state government is for them to invest in their responsibilities, and it's clear that they're absent in all areas of their responsibility, whether it be housing, childcare, or you know, doctors' facilities and services to the community. So you know, whenever council members you know, are in front of politicians, whether it be in Perth or in Canberra, I'm afraid, you know, you're going to have to put your big boy's pants on and give them a real serve, because you know, I don't see any other way that we're going to get them to actually take notice of our problems.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Blanco. Now put it to the vote. All those in favour? Motion is carried. Absolute majority. Thank you, councillors. Okay, moving on to 12.3.3. Okay. We often recommended before that it requires a simple majority vote. The council, thanks to the community and its contribution to the, excuse me, I get this word right, the Ningaloo Kuru and Karumaru and Maruri Plan 2024-2028, and 2, note that the plan, and 3, request a CEO or delegate to advertise the plan to public comment for 21 days, and 4, receive comments from the public over the next available council meeting. Can I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Turner. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Rebello. Is anyone against the motion? I'm just looking around the room. Is anyone against? No. Okay, motion's passed. Thank you, councillors. There you go, councillor. There you go. There you go. All right, let's go move on to 12.4.1 infrastructure services. Okay, so we have office recommendation before us. The council requires a simple majority vote. The council will award the successful respondents to the panel RFT 2324-2 pre-qualified panel of construction professionals for a period of 1 year with a 2 and 1 year extension options for the direction of the town. Can I have a mover, please?
So moved, Mr Mayor.
Mover, thank you, Councillor Blanco. I have a seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Butson. Is anyone against the motion? Motion's carried. Thank you, councillors. Okay, 12.5.1 executive services, attendance and conferences. Okay, so we have offer recommendation before us that each of us has acquired a simple majority vote to seek nominations for elected members. Recommendation 1, that council 1 nominates and approve the following elected members to attend the International Public Works Conference on the 30th of April to the 3rd of May 2024 in Melbourne. Are there any nominations? Councillor Christensen. Myself. Councillor Bennett. Myself, Councillor Mayor. Any other attendees? Okay, second mover.
Hang on, Mr Mayor. Is Councillor Busson on there?
No, she's no.
For
No.
Canberra?
No, it's not Canberra. It's not Canberra.
The engineering conference.
Engineering conference.
Public Works. Oh, where is that? That one's next.
That's one next.
Melbourne.
Next one's next. That's okay. Can I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Christensen. Can I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Turner. Is anyone against? Motion's carried. Thank you, councillors. Number 2. I know that the CEO may appoint officers to attend the International Public Works Conference on behalf of the town. Oh, next page. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Okay, recommendation 2, that council nominate and approve the following elected members to attend the Pilbara 2024 Summit on behalf of the town on the 26th of June 2024 in Karratha. Are there any nominations for that, please? Anyone else? Oh, just the one. 26th of June. You going to go? Yep. Councillor Christensen as well. You going to go to Karratha as well? Yeah, okay. Right, okay. Councillor McRae.
Councillor Busson? Did you have... No.
No. Okay. Okay. Can I move it, please, to those? Thank you, Councillor Blanco. Have a seconder. Councillor Bennett, thank you. Anyone against? Motion's carried. Thank you, councillors. Number 3, recommendation that council nominate and approve the following members to the National General Assembly and Regional Cooperation Development Forum on behalf of the town on the 2nd through the 4th of July in Canberra. Are there any nominations? 4.
Mr Mayor, can I suggest, okay, I'm going to give you a suggestion here. I don't agree with, these are junkets, okay, and I've been to many of them, but I believe now that councillors should go to it, all right, they should go and have a look at what's going on. It is something that you should do. I never believed that before, but you know, I do now. You should give it a crack, have a look at what they're doing, all that sort of stuff. So if there's more than 3 councillors that need to go, they should go. I have no problem with that. But then, you know, the policy states I want a report of your experience at that.
Which we do, yes. Yeah.
And that hasn't happened for a long time, so let's get that done.
We have done it the last few 12 months. Thank you. Okay, so who's Cameron? Councillor Butson, Councillor McRae, Councillor Bello, Councillor Turner, myself,
And Councillor
Christian.
Six.
Okay. All right. Get a mover, please. Mover.
Yep.
Seconder. Councillor Bennett, thank you. Anyone against? Motion is carried. Thank you, councillors. Item number 13. New business of urgent nature, late item, there is nil. Item number 14, motion to approve and notice was given, there is nil. Item number 15. We have two confidential matters to consider by council tonight. We have a recommendation of council to close the meeting to members of the public as described under 5.232 of the Local Government Act 1995 to consider items 15.1 and 15.2. Can I move to go behind closed doors? Thank you, Councillor Christensen. May I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Turner. Is anyone against that motion? No. Thank you. We'll close the doors. Recording. 8:10. Welcome back, everybody. For those welcome back again. Declare the meeting open at 5:37. Sorry, 8:37. Back on. The council had considered two conferential items and report tonight. One was 15.1, strategic land acquisition. The council endorsed the draft business case as per attachment and authorised the CEO to make minor amendments. And two, authorise the CEO or his delegate to pursue the freehold or leasehold tenure over a parcel of land indicated. And three, authorise the CEO to purchase the land if the purchase price is below the intended freehold acquisition price within a minimum of 10% of the intended freehold acquisition price indicated. And four, notes that if the purchase price exceeds 10% of the expected freehold acquisition costs, the matter will be brought back to council for the decision whether to proceed with the land sale. And five, note that the decision whether the state will sell the parcel of land to the town is not expected to occur within the 2023-24 financial year, that the funds required to purchase will be drawn from the strategic reserve or inclusion in the 24-25 annual budget. The motion was carried. It's 8-0, absolute majority. Yes. The other one was 15.2. The town debtors that council one received the report of the town debts, and two, write-off debt owed by the Port Hedland Yacht Club, and three, write-off debts owned by the Southampton Bowling Club and Tennis Club. And four, rescinded the policy 2-005, debt management, and five, adopts a financial hardship policy. The motion was carried 7-1. Number 16, closure. 16.1, the date of the next ordinary council meeting will be held on Wednesday, the 24th of April 2023, commencing at 5:30 p.m. 15.2, closure. With no further business, I declare the meeting closed at 8:39 a.m. Sorry, PM. It seems a long night. I'd like to thank councillors, members of the public and the CEO of his staff for attending tonight. Thank you very much. And everyone out there on Facebook land, thank you.
How did I get that wrong?
Yeah.
2023.
Yeah.